would eat with him food. وَإِنَّهُ لَيُذْكُرُ اللَّهِ. He would remember Allah when he was eating food, consuming food. وَلَوْ كَانَ يُحَدِّثُ الْقَوْمَ يَشْغَلُهُ ذَلِكَ عَنْ ذِكْرِ اللَّهِ. Even when he was speaking to the people, Imam Baqir alayhi salam, this did not distract him from remembering and doing dhikr of Allah. Now this is something hard, because usually we are not good at double tasking. That you're doing one thing and you do another thing. How can I speak to you right now, but at the same time remember Allah? Is it even impossible? They ask Allama Tabatabai this. He mentions that, look at a person who is either in love, either because of happiness, he has an attachment to somebody, or somebody has passed away that he really liked. Do you not see how they are working and they are living their life, but they are with that person, they're remembering them? God forbid a musibat happens to us, or inshallah, for those who are not married, they found their love and they want to get married, and it's their fiancés, for example, they just did the nikah. They're always thinking, first day at work, oh, I'm thinking about them, what are they doing? I'm separated from them. There's little hearts, going around their head on top of them, if you could see. But they are working and typing and doing stuff, but they're with that person because they're in love. So it's possible that you can speak to people, but your love for Allah is so intense that you're always remembering Him. If we can do this for a human, why not can we do it for our Creator? This is a little bit about the life of Imam Baqir alayhi salam, but as we are limited to time, I would like to share one of his hadith that he talks about the attributes of the true Shia, and every time I look at these attributes of the true Shia, I see what a terrible Shia I am myself. Because these attributes, I usually try not to even read them too much, because it gives me a sadness in my heart that how far am I from the true Shia. But let me give you some sadness as well, inshallah, but you are better than me. Inshallah, you'll have this, around these 5 qualities, and you won't be like me. An Abi Ja'far alayhi salam قال, inshallah, the next 15 minutes before Maghrib, we'll say this tradition, inshallah, we'll do our salat. إنما شيعة Ali alayhi salam, the Shia, the true Shia. And this hadith is not saying like if you don't have these attributes that you don't qualify. Usually these are referring to true Shia, because something that is kamil, someone who is complete. And the interesting thing about this is always that some of us look at just how we're, say, minimalist. We look at deen as a minimalistic way, that I just want to have the bare minimum. And I just want to have the wajibat, and I just want to pray, and I just want to go to heaven. That's it. And this is, the act of shaitan. Because who's going to fail? That student who says, I want to just pass and get a C in this semester? Or that student that says, I want to ace it? Which one is more likely to fail? The one who says, I barely want to pass, right? So this is one of the tricks of shaitan, always trying to make us just bare minimum Muslim, just salat at the end of time, basically fasting if I'm not traveling, because it's not wajib when I'm traveling, and that's it. That's fine, I'll go to heaven. But then I can get fooled. So these traditions are important to read in this aspect, that when I want to become, and I want to help myself get into heaven, I have to aim for the highest that I can, so that inshallah then I will have a greater chance of attaining heaven. So what are these attributes? The Shia of Imam Ali alayhi salam are those who, the first is al-mutabadiluna fi walayatina. They spend for their sake, for us, for our walaya. They spend, they're generous, they give. Hopefully at Kirama camp, inshallah, those that are attending, it's going to be about the khidmah. The title, the theme will be about khidmah and service. Something that is lost in some communities, service. We're used to the Western way of thinking. What about me, my family? How can I gain the most? What benefits me? But how about being a khadim? How about serving? How about giving? How about, if we look at the story, what recently happened of the dear brother Amin Abdullah, who with this hate crime that occurred in the Islamic Center of San Diego, a brother with 8 children, that faced, two people, and he got into a gunfight with them and shot, one of them, and, they had armor, so it didn't really, hurt them. But he was a barrier because that Islamic center also had a school, an elementary school. And even when he's, dying, he blocked or he prohibited these people from entering and allowed others to run away. He allowed the children and teachers to, lock down. So then he gets, attains, he spends, this is one example, he spends from what he has for Islam. When we look at these things, there's one way to look at it, and I see others, everyone's commenting about what happened recently and this horrific action. Some people think of it as a loss of life. I mean, we're very sad. 3 people became shaheed this way, especially Abdullah, who himself put himself in danger. But yet, we look at some of the sayings of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam, and this is for us that what's been going on these last, 2 years, 3 years, we're trying to understand, why does Allah allow so many good people to become shaheed? How come so many greats are martyred? And we always think that, we lost them, and, there's a loss. But Imam Ali beautifully says this thing, and it takes a little bit of thinking to try to understand it. He says, "Man lam yamut yuqtal." Whoever doesn't die gets killed in the way of Allah. Whoever doesn't die becomes shaheed. Why? What are we trying to understand from here? Understand it this way. We're on a limb, all of us right now. All of us are decaying. All of us are dying. Either the nurse, we're going to die, there's going to be nurses, there's going to be a hospital, there's going to be, or there's going to be disease, a virus, or we're dying in our beds. Regardless, not to break the bad news, but we're already dying. We're already dead almost, right? So this tradition from Imam Ali alayhi salam, "Man lam yamut yuqtal," means that shahadat and martyrdom is an escape from death. There's a chance to escape from death. And the only escape from death is shahadat and martyrdom. And the Quran says that the shuhada are ahya, are living. So therefore we understand that sometimes this gateway opens. For Amin Abdullah, it opened really fast, right? Split second. And usually you can't plan for these things like, I'm going to do this. It's just your iman and your reactions and how good of a khadim your practice being a khadim and protecting people. And therefore he gave everything he had for Allah. So therefore we see that, some say the story of Prophet Ibrahim, when he comes to sacrifice his son Ismail, that he becomes saddened as to, why Allah stopped this. Because he wanted his son, and this again, complete different way is how we look at life. He wanted his son to attain shahada. He wanted his son to become alive. Because whoever is not dead becomes alive. So even though Prophet Ismail, he needs to be married, he needs to have children, right? He's a young person. But Prophet Ibrahim is looking at this, that there's an opportunity that will close. I don't know, but now he's going to die. We're all dying. Regardless how, even though we have to protect our nafs, we have to protect what we had. I'm not saying that we should be careless about our lives, because life is precious. What I'm trying to say is life is very precious, but the best Shia, the best Muslims are those who spend it for the way of Allah. And what happens when they do this? They become alive. Very interesting. Man lam yamut yuqtal. Whoever doesn't, alhamdulillah, the microphone's still working. Man lam yamut yuqtal. This is one of the miracles of Allah. Whoever doesn't die will be, whoever doesn't die will be killed. Prophet Musa alayhi salam in the Holy Quran mentions when he killed someone, and he mentions to them that, inni qataltu minhum nafs, I've killed somebody. Then he says, I am afraid of death in the Quran, Surah Al-Qasas. فَأَخَافُ أَنْ يُقْتَلُونَ. I'm afraid that they will kill me. Question to you. Can Prophet Musa alayhi salam, or someone who's, at that status, Musa alayhi salam, be afraid of death, be afraid of being killed? This doesn't make sense, for someone who is at that high, caliber. our scholars understand from this is that Musa alayhi salam is afraid to die, and the religious affairs of the Bani Israel will be left alone, because he is the Munji and Savior. He has a mission, a divine mission. And he is afraid if he dies and they kill him, then who's going to save them from the Fir'aun? Because it doesn't make sense, again, for another prophet who understands that we're already decaying, we're already dying, we're almost there, we never know when, any minute it can happen for us, right? It doesn't make sense for him to be scared. أَخَافُ says, فَأَخَافُ أَنْ يُقْتَلُونَ. It means that he's afraid of his mission. So the scholar says this, he says that to give everything in the way of Allah, that is a life. If you get killed in the way of Allah, as we said, like Amin Abdullah, you're alive again. Now, how it works, Quran says, yurzaqun, they're giving rizq. The shuhada are getting rizq from Allah. But unless you want to stay in this world and you have a purpose and you want to help the Imam of the age, just how Prophet Musa wanted to stay in this world, not that he's afraid to be alive, not to be killed, he's afraid that the affairs, the religion of Allah will not be spread. So if we're already decaying, we're already dying. No matter how much we take care of ourselves, we're dying. But the best intention is that Allah preserve my life, give me my life, or delay, that, martyrdom or shahada, so I can be at service to the Muslimin. And some ask our leadership about this. Says, is it wrong for me to pray this, that I will be at the khidmat of Islam, I will be at the service of Islam, and then after my service is done, then I'll become shaheed? He says, yes, now you have basira, now you have insight. So therefore, we don't wish that our lives, we say, is worthless, that we give, and we just want to end the life early. We don't say that. We say life is precious, the most precious thing, but this most precious thing we want to give to Allah. Mutabadaluna. We want to be how Imam Bagh alayhi salam says, our Shia are those who give generously for our wilayat. Because we're running out of time, we have about 5 minutes. Al-mutahabbuna fi mawaddatina. The second quality is that those who love another from our love. You love each other because you say they are the Shia of Ali alayhi salam, because they love, say, the Fatima alayhi salam, the Husayni. You love them because of us. Al-mutazawiruna li-ihya'i amrana, and those who visit each other, keep up our mission alive. They see each other, so to keep our mission alive, they visit each other. They have congregations, as you are having congregations for our affairs. Fourth, alladhina idha ghadabu lam yadhlimu. Our Shia are those who, when they get upset, they don't do dhulm. Because it's very easy to harm someone when you're very angry. When you're calm, you're not going to harm anyone. You just want to relax and sleep and take a break. But when you're angry, that is when someone is close to kufr, someone's close to disbelief. So when they become angry, they learn from Imam Qadhim alayhi salam, Qadhimul Ghayd, Kadhmul Ghayd. They hold their anger. Then it continues and says, وَإِن رَضُوا لَمْ يُصْرِفُوا. The other attribute of the true Shia, if they are happy and satisfied, they do not do israf. If life is good for them, if they have good income, they have lots of time, lots of health, they're young, then they're satisfied, but they won't do israf. They won't waste. So it's very easy. When a person doesn't have much, they get used to not spending and not wasting. But it's very easy when you have a lot to just waste on things that are useless for yourselves. Especially in this country that we live in, it's so easy to, you just pick a button, then you press it, it's coming now, like in a few hours. Then it says, oh, there's other things too. Did you miss those? Yes, you click those too. And then all of them come together. Why? Because you want them, to come as a complete package. Sometimes your intention is you waste less, for example, gas. You need them all to come at the same time. This is the problem that we face right now in this society we live in, is that we have abundance, we're satisfied, but we do israf. We really, if we were to think of it, we'd give it in the path of Allah. I'm saying this to myself. As I said, I don't like to read these narrations. They make us, but the good thing is you learn that there's multiple stages and you don't limit yourself to the bare minimum. Then it says, our Shia are this, and you can gauge yourself. Barakatun ala ma jawaru. They're a barakah and blessing to their neighbors. We can go and ask your neighbors right now, give us your address, and we can ask them, this person, is he a barakah to you or no? They're harming me, for example. They're bothering me. We're always fighting with one another. It has done nothing to me. This is one of the key principles that Christians, they really, those who are religious, they try to practice, that they are kind to their neighbors. Why? Because I believe I think it's in the Old Testament as well, that from the 10 Commandments, if I'm not mistaken. But this is something we have in Islam too, that your neighbor, Sayyidah Fatima Zahra, salawatullah alayha, Imam Hassan looks at the dua of his mother. To the morning she was making dua, and she mentions that al-jar thumma ad-dar, first neighbor, then the house. And who was in the house? Imam Hassan, Imam Hussein. Praying for the neighbor before Imam Hassan, Imam Hussein alayhi salam, Imam Ali alayhi salam. Then it mentions at the end, Silmun leman khalatu. They are a safety to those who associate with them. They never harm individuals. One of the saddest things we see today, how many politicians, how many people, evil people, they harm children, they harm those who, are amanat sometimes to them, or they're young and they are defenseless, or they harm. But the Shia are the opposite. They give protection. As you see, the Shia are always not only causing harm, but they're giving protection to the mustat'afin in the world, those who are oppressed, whether they're in Africa, they're in Asia, wherever they are, in America, that those who are oppressed in this world, they need protection, and that is what a Shia does. First of all, the minimum is they don't harm them. So again, I'll read to you this narration, and hopefully, inshallah, we can act upon it. The true Shia of Imam Ali alayhi salam are those who generously give for the sake of wilayah. They give their lives, they give their money. Again, we said if you give your life, you escape death. There's one escape of death, and that is giving your life. Those who love one another for our love. Those who visit one another to keep our mission alive. Those who, when angered, do not commit injustice. And when pleased, do not become excessive. They are a blessing to their neighbors and a source of peace and safety to those who are their neighbors, or those who barakat, they're blessing to their neighbors, and they are peace and safety to those who associate with them. Khalatu. We ask Allah, inshallah, to cure all of those who are sick. Bihaq Imam Bagha alayhi salam, especially Haj Ali Nema, our dear brother in the community who had surgery today, and all of your mu'mineen and mu'minat, those who are in need of our du'as, those who are in need of shafa. May Allah give them shafa because of Ahlul Bayt. May Allah have rahmah and mercy on our deceased. May Allah answer all of your hawa'ij. Bihaq Imam Muhammad Bagha alayhi salam. May Allah expedite the return of the Imam of the age and provide safety and peace and tawheed for the entire world with a salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.